Yo, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you are tuning into this broadcast. This is Issues, Coach Ish, whatever you want to call me. Let's talk some boxing. All right, so we got Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia coming up. Excellent fight. I've been waiting a long time for this fight. I've been waiting for this fight ever since they were kids, basically. This fight is a rubber match. Right now, uh, they've met up 6 times. They're split evenly, 3-3 in the amateurs. Um, so they came up together. But this is it's slightly disappointing in one way, but it's very gratifying in another way. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. So it's slightly disappointing because I always thought that this fight was going to be, from a marketable standpoint, of the magnitude of a prime Floyd versus prime Oscar De La Hoya. Now, uh, I thought this a long time ago when Ryan's upside was a lot higher. Um, since then, he's kind of done some things that's kind of made his stock drop significantly. At one point, when everything was all good between him and Oscar, he was looking like he was going to be the next Oscar De La Hoya. He hasn't quite reached that. There's some comparisons you can make, but he hasn't quite reached that iconic Oscar De La Hoya status. I think Devin Haney is close to prime Floyd. We're not talking about Money Mayweather. That's a little bit past his prime Floyd. Um, but Pretty Boy Floyd is where Devin Haney is, and outside of I think he's pretty much there. I just don't think Ryan is where Oscar De La Hoya was, even when Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd. Well, we're talking about Oscar versus Pernell Whitaker or Tito Trinidad, or how big he was then. No, Ryan is not there. But even still, style wise and personality wise and a whole bunch of other things, this is still a very similar matchup. I just thought that it would be a much bigger promotion than this, but it's all good. Take the good, take the bad, blend them both, and then you had the facts of life, right? So, the facts of life is that Ryan is where he is, Devin is where he is, and here we go. So, I watched the press conference last night. A lot of takeaways from the press conference that is going to lead me to pretty much my prediction at the end of this video. So, the press conference last night, well, it wasn't last night, but the press conference, I watched it last night. Um, Ryan was talking crazy. Ryan was talking crazy. First of all, let me just throw out the fact that he already shot himself in the foot, as far as I'm concerned, by, first of all, him and his pops was drunk. I think he was inebriated. Him and his pops was drunk. That's why his pops slipped up and said what he said. And then he tried to, come on, let's move on. Let's do something else. It's like, no. You know what I'm saying? It's why you got nappy hair. You know what I mean? Like, oh, snap. Which it is what it is. Whatever. They going back and forth. But he chose to shoot out something very racially insensitive. And I don't say that. I don't say that because I'm offended by it. I say that because, you know, great athletes, great fighters, great ball players. Michael Jordan was very famous for making up things to get him extra motivated. Extra motivation in boxing is very key. Um, Manny Pacquiao used it against Keith Thurman. So extra motivation in boxing is very key. And I could see Devin now, he's using every little thing that he can to give him the extra motivation to go in there and put a beating on Ryan. So he mentioned something about him saying something about Islam. I didn't hear that comment. But, he definitely can use, his pops saying this, Devin Haney's pops got nappy hair. I've been seeing that spreading around the internet or whatever. But more importantly, first of all, Ryan, the thing about boxing, victory in the ring is not just about how well you prepare physically. Everything has to come in alignment. Your body, your mind, your body, your soul. It all has to be, especially when you in these type of matchups. When you in matchups that are lopsided or, then you could get away with some things. But when you in a matchup and it's equal, both of y'all at the top of y'all game, you know what I'm saying? Mind, body, and soul have to be all in alignment. And I can tell you right now, Ryan Garcia is not in a good place. He's not in a good place. I can see it in the interview. He's not in a good place. His mind is not in a good place. And I will argue that his spirit is not in a good place. His soul is not in a good place. Because number one, you're visibly drunk. You're visibly drunk. You admitting on the podium in front of everybody, I drink and I smoke weed. I drink and I smoke weed. He kept saying that over and over. But you standing up talking about let's bring the Holy Spirit into this and what? Come on, man. Come on, man. You sitting here advocating for weed smoking and drinking. You're inebriated. You're drunk right now. And you're talking about, and you're trying to turn this into a church moment? Stop that, man. Cut that out. That right there shows me, like, you're not in a good place. You're not in a good place. Because if you were in a good place spiritually and you were saying that, you wouldn't be doing it drunk. And if you did admit to smoking weed and drinking, you'll be saying that's behind you. You'll be sounding more like Keyshawn Davis when he fought oh God, what the hell is this dude's name? Who did he just fight? Pedraza. When he was talking about how he don't smoke no more and he's trying to, you know what I'm saying, turn over a new leaf, yada, yada, yada. That's respectable. But what's not respectable is you as a professional fighter at the top of your game getting up there talking about, and then I like how Devin Haney pivoted. I don't always agree with the stuff Devin Haney do either, but I like how he pivoted to say, like, you know what I mean, like we out here, and that was a good pivot. You know, we supposed to be influencing the kids, and what you trying to, he's right, because I'm gonna tell you as a trainer, smoking weed ain't good for you. Smoking weed ain't good for you. It ain't. It slows you down. It slows you down. It ain't good for you. Not as a professional fighter. It's not good for you at all. Drinking either. Especially if you're drinking liquor. You know what I'm saying? You did get dropped with a liver shot. You did get stopped by a liver shot. And, you know, so your liver have to be in good shape. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at very least, just that alone. We're not going to talk about the effects and all this other stuff. We could just talk about that alone. The fact that if you're drinking liquor, you're damaging your liver. So that's a fact. You know, if you're smoking weed, you're damaging your lungs. You're going to need both of those at the highest level. So there's no way in the world that you should be, even if you did smoke and drink, you shouldn't have done it for this camp or not for this fight. So if you're admitting that you're smoking weed and you're drinking, then you're admitting that you're coming into this fight compromised. That's just a fact. That's a fact. Anybody who argue that don't know what the hell they talking about. Right? So, then we have Devin Haney. Devin Haney is coming off of a very impressive win over Regis Prograis, which I personally think that he's looked the best that he's ever looked against Regis Prograis. Could have been a matchup thing. But, irregardless, Regis Prograis is a dog. And Devin Haney dog walked him. You know what I'm saying? And that means a lot. So, looking at Ryan, his last fight, he didn't look like he corrected all of his mistakes. So Ryan is going into this fight maybe not at the top of his game as far as his technical abilities being correct. He makes a lot of mistakes. And Tank made him pay for it, but he makes a lot of mistakes. And Devin Haney is super sharp. So he's going into it maybe not fully where he needs to be as far as his technique and stuff, but also you coming in compromised. Mind, body, and spirit is not 100%. And that's based on what I've seen in the press conference. Devin Haney is coming off of a spectacular win at a weight class that he looked like he belongs in his weight class. And I did see him in an interview or something. It might have been at the press conference where he said he'd been killing himself to make the weight. I think that's true, right? I think that's true. Something in my beard. There it is. I think that's true. You know what I mean? Because he looked way different at 140. So, Devin Haney can outbox Ryan Garcia the whole fight. He could outbox him. He could hurt him. He could potentially stop him. Ryan Garcia can definitely stop Devin Haney. Based on all of the variables, I would have to say that it is more likely that Devin Haney will beat Ryan Garcia. It's more likely. And might even stop him, just depending on what state he's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, smoking weed as a professional boxer takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you. And I know that firsthand. It takes a lot out of you. Drinking while you're training takes a lot out of you. Takes a lot out of you. So if Ryan Garcia has stepped up there and said, you know, I was drinking, but I turned my life over to Christ, and now I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do none of these things, because that's where the spirit thing is not lined up. Because on one end you admitting you drink and you smoke, and then on another end you saying you gave your life to Christ. The two don't add up. The two don't add up. You can't be drinking and smoking and gave your life over to Christ. That doesn't make any sense. That's literally the equivalent if Devin Haney, after becoming Muslim, stood up and was like, yo, you know, I drink and I smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you struggling with on your own, you know what I'm saying? That's between you and God. But once you get up on a podium and you start announcing it and promoting it pretty much, your spirit's not in the right place. So I got Devin Haney winning this fight. Either late stoppage or a unanimous decision. But I would not be surprised at all if Ryan pulled out a stoppage. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ryan clipped him. Because Devin Haney made some mistakes too. Even though he's been looking sharp lately, He makes some mistakes too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Garcia clipped him. You know what I'm saying? That left hook is dangerous. And Devin Haney could fall into it. So it's just going to really come down to where Ryan Garcia's mind is. You know what I mean? People say he quit against Tank. I don't think he quit. I think he couldn't continue. A liver shot is a terrible thing. And if he was drinking during the preparation of that fight, then that makes perfect sense. So that's what I got. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's talk about it. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.